And it seems that the process right now is pretty broken. There's a lot of people trying to find work. How do you think the process has changed in recent years?
Well, I think now it's a lot more focused on just getting your foot in the door. So the first thing everybody thinks is, I just need to get that initial engagement. So everything is tailored to what is going to get me in front of the right people so I can at least start the journey. Everybody's so worried about that before they even think about what it is that they might want to get across for the potential roles that they're looking at, or who they're actually thinking about when it comes to hiring. It's all tailored around that initial engagement. And that's just a sign of how competitive roles are these days. Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing in terms of getting that foothold, and everything is tailored to that. So that's always the hard part. But once you get through, it not a lot has actually changed. The interview processes and a lot of that sort of stuff is still the same, but it's really that initial engagement.
Yeah, and it's almost become quite an art, hasn't it, to read a job description, think, yep, I'm going to go for this, and then craft your CV in the hope that you snake your way through that tiny keyhole, through all of the AI and all of the processes, and actually land up, in front of somebody who can read it and maybe give me a call and welcome me into the interview process. It seems like it's such a small keyhole, though. I know we're going to get into a lot more, later on, but do you think it's still very important that I structure my CV in a certain way to get through?
It is and it isn't. And I think that entirely depends on what sort of application process it is you're looking at. You've got no clue really what is on the other side of that. So there is always a need and a case to say that you should have the what I would call like the core of your CV and your application profile in there, but I don't think that is going to serve you beyond that initial entry point, right? So yes, you want to maximize the chances that you're going to get in through that initial door, but you don't want it to be, when it's picked up by a human, the first thing that they read is, a list of different technologies or a list of different things that aren't really going to make you stand out in that process.
Got it. Okay. Now, throughout this conversation, we're going to be thinking about both the job seeker, what they
Mm.
should do, how they should approach the process, but also from the hiring manager's point of view and your ideas around the good process that helps the hiring manager build a great team. But of course, they meet in the middle. So we're going to be talking about it from both points of view. Can we start with the job seeker? What do
Mm.
you think are the biggest mistakes that you see when people are applying for a job?
So I think if we come back to the initial like entry point things and what are the critical things that are going to get you over that first hurdle, the biggest mistake or frustration at least I have is, when I pick up someone's CV or I'm, meeting someone for the first time, the last thing that I want to read is all of the things that they've copied and pasted from the job description, or, the things that they've read that they think I want to hear. For me, that shows kind of a little bit of laziness and a little bit of lack of interest, and
Can I
maybe
challenge you a
it's
bit on that? Because some of the
mm,
common advice that you get is look at the job description and
yeah.
load your CV up with the right terms so that you look
Mhm.
like a match. But what
Yeah.
you're saying is you think that's almost lazy.
Well, I think I guess laziness is a direct copy, right? So like maybe you're just saying, okay, in the job description, it says you must be competent with X, Y, and Z tooling. And you in your job description then write, I have used X tool at X job for 5 years. Like that for me is not going to be something that is appealing. It's going to be reading, okay, what did you do with it? How did you do it? What problems did you solve? What's the context of the problems? Because for me, that's the bit that makes you stand out, right? It's what have you done with those particular tools or those particular skills that have actually made you grow or made you develop or made you a standout in your particular area of expertise. So
So,
it's
so
really
what, what,
taking
I'm, what,
it.
I'm, what I'm hearing is that instead of just saying, yeah, I did it, tick box, you go beyond and you describe the impact that you made with it.
Yes, exactly, and that's a hard thing to do in an A4 side of paper or in a 2 minute conversation or however long you've got. Um, so I think that's really the art of it, right? Is how do you get the most information and the most concise point into something that is relevant and impactful for the person that's going to be reading it, and that's ultimately the other challenge, right? It's like you never know who is going to be reading it. It might be a panel of people, it might be the hiring manager, it might be just the recruiter, it might be you never know. So it's impossible to tailor it to a specific person, but what you can do is deliver on your strongest points on the areas that you know are, the core things and are going to be minimally required.
That makes total sense.